Hello everyone, Norma Woodcock speaking to you from Perth in Western Australia. I'd like to speak into the 18th Sunday in Ordinary Time Year C and the theme, You Have Enough. In Luke 12:13-21, Jesus warns of avarice of any kind. Jesus' parable is not about need but about greed. I'd like to read you a little piece here. Tolstoy tells a story about a peasant named Packham, who desperately wanted to own some land. By saving every penny he had, he bought 40 acres. He was overjoyed. However, he soon felt cramped, so he sold the 40 acres and bought 80 acres in another region. But this didn't satisfy him for long, so he began to look again. One evening, a stranger arrived. Packham talked about his desire for more land. The stranger told him that beyond the mountains there lived a tribe of simple people who had lots of land for sale. Off he went next day. The chief welcomed him and said, "For only 1,000 rubles, you can have as much land as you can walk round in a day. But you must return to the spot from where you started on the same day, otherwise you forfeit the money." Packham was thrilled. He couldn't sleep all that night, thinking of all the land that would soon be his. As soon as the sun peeped above the horizon, a marker was put down on top of a knoll, and he was off. Men followed him on horseback and drove stakes into the ground to mark the path he traced out. He walked fast and made excellent progress. The farther he went, the better the land became. In his eagerness to encompass as much as he could, he lost track of time. Then, to his horror, he saw the sun beginning to go down. He headed for the knoll as fast as he could. He just made it to the top as the sun vanished. Once there, however, he collapsed face downward on the ground. "I congratulate you," said the chief. "You have earned more than any man I can remember." But Packham made no reply. They turned him over. He was dead. Amazing story. I believe there's a twofold process here. I believe that so many of us have this feeling of not being enough because of whatever in our lives, and maybe because we don't have a deep enough relationship with God through Jesus Christ, and so the deepest parts of our being have not been touched with healing and resurrection and restoration, and so therefore there is avarice within us, not just for money, for fame, for possessions, for relationship, for better health than anyone else, for more money, for whatever the more is, and you know what the more is. The only person who can satisfy you is God, through Jesus Christ. And so that story of this person who worked so hard to get all that land, and what is it that in your life you feel is taking over? What is it in your life that's making you feel like, I've got to keep going, I've got to keep doing, I've got to keep gaining this, I've got to get that bit of fame, I've got to get those positions, whatever it is. It comes down to a deep, deep unsettledness within, I believe, all of us that says, I'm not enough, so I've got to prove that I'm enough by all that I have. And I can remember that was my story too. And a lot of it was my children had to dress well, they had to do well at school. My husband always had to present himself well. I had to have this in the house and that and so on and so forth. And, really and truly, when it comes down to it, the only thing that's made me happy is the relationship with God that I have. And I invite you to search that out and listen to this story about all the accumulation of land, and he died in the striving. God bless you. Enjoy the week. I look forward to meeting you again next week.